Hello, welcome back to another Tabletop Talk. I thought I would just take a few minutes to kind of share my present experience with Stratomatic hockey. I'm not for sure where this conversation will go. It's just been kind of interesting as I have stopped to think about how this is going, and I thought I would just share some thoughts about it. First off, Strat is hockey is a new sports sim for me. I haven't ever got into hockey enough to play a sports sim of it, and so learning the game has been kind of an experience. Trying to watch some YouTube videos, and then learning the Stratomatic game engine itself has been an experience. And I've talked a little bit in the past about learning a new game and the joy and challenges of that. So over the last couple weeks, I've got the game down. I understand the game very well, the ins and outs of it, and feel pretty comfortable about my level of expertise on that. I'm doing the super advanced, even up to the deflections, and so I feel pretty good about that. Um, and I'm learning quite a bit about hockey itself. That was again a new experience. So. I guess the issue that I'm having is I've played around with it quite a bit. I'm feeling the need to finish something, and one problem that I'm noticing is too many options. I have the PC version, and then when I bought the game, I started out with the 2016-17 season and think about what I would like to do with that, and then I thought, well, I want an older season, so I ordered the 55-56 NHL and messed around with that. And then I thought, well, I'm a Cincinnati guy, so I'd like the new WHA season so that I can play with the Cincinnati Stingers. So I've messed around with that. And so the problem is that I have messed around with a lot, but not finishing anything. Um, and I guess in and of itself, that's not a bad thing, but I am the replay gamer after all. And so I'm wanting to do some kind of replay. And so, as far as the too many options, it's the seasons. I've got 3 now. And I find historically I do that. When I find a new game, I end up loading up instead of just playing something. I have a mountain of Stratomatic baseball seasons. And then I got into replay baseball, and I ended up getting quite a few seasons of that. Then I got into payoff pitch baseball, and I got quite a few seasons of that. And then I got into different sims, different sports sims. So got away from just baseball and got replay basketball, and I got a few seasons of that. So I stock up on these things, but yet I'm not finishing much, and or even knowing where to begin. So on the hockey in particular, I would like to replay a season because that's what I enjoy doing. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. So I've been experimenting with the PC. Um, there's two things. I feel like no matter which option I go, that I'm missing out on something, and so I won't keep going. For example, if I try to do the PC version, then I miss out on the hockey, the cards and dice. I feel like that's not completely satisfactory. If I do the cards and dice, then I feel like I'm missing out on the advantages of the computer, of it compiling stats, of the computer manager. There's that aspect that I enjoy, is the having the computer manager play against me, and so I find that I'm just not content in anything, and that bothers me. I'm getting to the point where I feel like I need to make myself do something, and hopefully this doesn't sound insane. Hopefully those of you who enjoy this hobby as I do can relate. As usual, feel free to share in the comments. So I kind of am got to where I kind of play the game cards and dice with the benefit of the computer. I've kind of got 4 or 5 games into the Columbus Blue Jackets doing that. I've got into a couple games of doing the Detroit Red Wings in 1955 like that. I've toyed around with the idea of like doing every game just cards and dice and compiling the stats myself. That seems daunting. I've toyed around with the idea of maybe just doing the playoffs in the WHA, maybe doing a tournament. Um, I'm just having a hard time settling what I want to do. And again, that's starting to frustrate me. I'm to the point in the game that I should be able to do some kind of um, project, but I'm not finding any projects that I'm completely happy with, and that's weird. So, as far as the too many options, I've dabbled in music in the past, and there's something to be said when you're limited making use of what you have, and you can find that if you've got one guitar and just a couple plug-ins, that you can make that work much better than if you've got 5 guitars. It the choices can be paralyzing. It's well, would this one sound better? And then you spend all your time monkeying around with the different plugins or the guitar or whatever, and you really don't make anything. And for me, the stats accumulating, making progress, that's a part of what I enjoy. But having too many options sometimes can freeze you to where you trying everything, you just get nowhere. And so I just thought that was interesting. Um, you know, um, I guess this is a journey I took in baseball, which I've kind of got through. I admire these guys in a way who get one game and play a lot of seasons, and that's kind of where I think I would like to be. It's okay. I got this game, this season. I'm gonna finish it, and then they go do another season. I mean, and you see them upload the results. I mean, they're just playing game after game after game, and that feels like that's where I would like to be. But I always feel like that there's something I'm missing, and so I've got to the point where I think I've got the games I want right now. There's always other ones, and down the road I would like to delve into them, but I would like to start making some hay with the games that I have. So Stratomatic Hockey is a great game. I enjoy the game engine. So I feel like that I need just to get settled on something and start playing some games, making some hay on a project. And again, for some reason, for me, small projects don't appeal to me, but maybe that's what I ought to do just to get that sense of accomplishment. Maybe I thought about doing the Cincinnati Stingers in the 78-79 WHA, lost in the first round to the New England Whalers. So 2 games to 1. So maybe that would be a good project. I could do that on the table. I wouldn't need the computer to help me with the stats. And maybe that would feel like, again, it's really weird. It feels like I'm not accomplishing anything. But I think if I would do it, then it'd be like, okay, I'm getting somewhere now. And, and maybe there's something to be said for just dabbling around. Maybe there's, I've heard people say that, setting things up and doing the research and is almost more fun than the project itself. I feel like for me, that wouldn't be the case. Um, but in my history, I have started a lot more than I've completed. And I would like to get to the point where I am completing more. So, again, I think for me, maybe a good thing to do would be just to stop adding more options to the table and make something happen with the options I have. Again, in the realm of music, I find for me that works. It's like, okay, let's stop buying plugins. Let's don't buy another guitar. Let's make some music with what I have. And I find that that tends to work for me. And so, as much fun it is as it is to get a new season, as much fun as it is to delve into a new game, I've done that enough the last 2 or 3 months that it's time to sit down and for me to get some things done, to get a project done, to really start delving into what I have. Because I guess I feel like it's a little bit of a waste of money if I keep buying these things and don't do anything with them other than just dabble here and there. And and I want to get to know the seasons that I have. Again, I know very little about hockey. I've learned a lot in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so it's not been a complete waste of time. But I feel like that if it don't go deeper to where I'm spending some quality time with these sets, I want to get to know the Stingers. I want to get to know the original 6 teams in 1955 and 56. And I have, I've learned just dabbling, but I want to get some stats accumulated. I want to get some standings going. I want to really get to know, um, the players and their strengths and their weaknesses. And Stratomatic hockey does that very well. I mean, you get to know the guys who are good checkers, the guys who are good passers, the guys who aren't good passers. The guys who couldn't check anything, their mother, and those who are great on rebounds. The goalies who, if you get a goalie rating, it's about over, and those who are going to save just about everything. So that's part of the fun of delving into this. And if I keep adding to it, I'm never going to dive in and really spend some quality time with anything. And so for me, I feel like that would be getting my money's worth if I just start doing that. So I'm going to have to make myself do something and quit going back and forth. I've experimented enough that it's time to make a decision. One problem is that the options are a little more limited in hockey than they are in baseball. Baseball, you have some great options, for computer managers, for stat accumulations, for the coolness on the screen, to being able to incorporate your cards with the computer, and so that's been one thing that I've had to kind of work around, because the options that are available in the baseball sim world aren't as available in the hockey sim world. And so I'm having to think outside the box. It's not apples and oranges. I wish it was. I think this process would have been a lot quicker if I had the same options in baseball that I have in hockey, but you just don't. And so, having to figure that out has been part of, this last couple of weeks. And so, but again, as I've shared, I want to settle down and do something. Um, so I'm going to have to make some tough decisions and just get into something and stick with it and see it through, and take it from there. So anyway, these tabletop talks are just kind of some things to help me to articulate what's going on, to share what's going on in my little sports universe. And hopefully this is something that relates to everybody. Again, I would appreciate any comments, especially if you do cards and dice only and you do season replays. How do you handle stat accumulation? To me, I can kind of live with not having a computer manager, even though I enjoy that very much. But the stat accumulation, for me, in hockey, I'm keeping track of, their hits, their takeaways, turnovers, goals, and so the stats aren't nearly as difficult as baseball is, but still, it would be a job to try to keep track of, the stats even for one team. And but then I find myself, well, I would like to have the stats for the other teams, and you can't do that unless you play every single game, and that's just a huge undertaking. But when I'm playing the PC version with the cards, I feel like I'm not getting the full benefit of the cards. There's just something about having the game on the table and actually using the fast action cards and rolling the dice. You can't do that with Stratomatic PC. so I can kind of follow along with the cards, but I don't get this full cards and dice experience. So I prefer the cards and dice experience, but yet the stat accumulation, playing the other games. So I guess the bottom line is that I'm not don't have the options I have in baseball, and so I'm going to have to settle on something. There's nothing going to satisfy 100% of what I'm looking for, and I'm going to have to pick what I prefer, or maybe just stick with something and do it, and then that would help me inform, what I enjoy more. Um, so anyway, hope that didn't ramble on. Just wanted to share some thoughts. Would appreciate any feedback, thoughts you guys have. As usual, I appreciate all the kind words, and I will see you next time.